anime isn't just harems and sports rivalries. Hidden amongst the cutesy fun stuff is lots of seriously gross anime. Whether it's a violent anime, a bloody anime, or an anime that flat out shouldn't exist, watching anime can potentially be hazardous to your health. There are even some scenes that will make you sick to your stomach without a single drop of blood. Today's AniTube, we're counting down the top 10 anime that guaranteed to make you physically nauseous. Centuries ago, mankind was slaughtered to near extinction by monstrous humanoid creatures called titans, forcing humans to hide in fear behind enormous concentric walls. What makes these giants truly terrifying is that their taste for human flesh is not born out of hunger, but what appears to be out of pleasure. To ensure their survival, the remnants of humanity began living within defensive barriers, resulting in 100 years without a single titan encounter. However, that fragile calm is soon shattered when a colossal titan manages to breach the supposedly impregnable outer wall, reigniting the fight for survival against a man-eating abominations. After witnessing a horrific personal loss at the hands of the invading creatures, Eren Yeager dedicates his life to their eradication by enlisting into the Survey Corps, an elite military unit that combats the merciless humanoids outside the protection of the walls. Based on Hajime Isayama's award-winning manga, Shingeki no Kyojin follows Eren, along with his adopted sister Mikasa Ackerman, and his childhood friend Armin Arlert, as they join the brutal war against the Titans and race to discover a way of defeating them before the last walls are breached. For normal people, getting stabbed to death would constitute the end of the road. For Rin Asogi, it's a mere inconvenience. Rin is immortal, a nice perk to have when you're a private detective constantly finding yourself in dangerous situations. Rin has eaten a time fruit. A fruit from the guardian tree Yggdrasil, which, when consumed by a woman, makes her unable to die. Rin's immortality doesn't stop others from trying to kill her, of course. Over her long lifetime she has been shot at, cut up, maimed, tortured, and suffered countless other violent deaths. This time, it's different. The year 1990 sparks the beginning of a series of events in Rin's life that sends her spiraling toward her fate. Someone is hunting down immortal women like Rin, and Rin's life may be in actual danger. Mnemosyne no Musume Tachi spans 65 years in Rin's life, during which she watches those around her get old, while she herself remains unchanged. Higher forces are after her, and Rin must use every means at her disposal or her next death may just be her last. And it all begins when she goes searching for a lost cat, but finds the amnesiac Koki Mino instead. Thought your life was bad? Sometimes, death is worse. There is no salvation, peace, nor God waiting to receive you into their care. But wait, a God? Maybe you are talking about that big black ball stuck in the room with you. Now you are thrown into a game, fighting green aliens and robot monsters for the chance to survive. When Korono is killed, he thus finds himself caught in such a game, a test of his skills, morals, and will to survive. His life is not his own. His death is spat and trampled upon over and over again. What happens if he does not listen? God knows. A word of warning? Gantz is not for the faint-hearted, but neither is it as simple as it looks. Gore, rape, and violence is rampant, as are portrayals of greed, violence, and all the ugliness that one sees in society today. Tokyo has become a cruel and merciless city, a place where vicious creatures called ghouls exist alongside humans. The citizens of this once great metropolis live in constant fear of these bloodthirsty savages and their thirst for human flesh. However, the greatest threat these ghouls pose is their dangerous ability to masquerade as humans and blend in with society. Based on the best-selling supernatural horror manga by Sue Yoshida, Tokyo Ghoul follows Ken Kaneki, a shy, bookish college student who is instantly drawn to Rise Kamishiro, an avid reader like himself. However, Rise is not exactly who she seems, and this unfortunate meeting pushes Kaneki into the dark depths of the ghouls' inhuman world. In a twist of fate, Kaneki is saved by the enigmatic waitress Tauka Kirishima, and thus begins his new, secret life as a half-ghoul half-human, who must find a way to integrate into both societies. 15-year-old Megumi Shimizu dreamed of a glamorous life in the big city. However, her unexpected death in the quiet village of Satoba marks the beginning of what appears to be a ferocious epidemic that turns the hot summer into a season of blood and terror. A young doctor named Toshio Izaki begins to doubt the nature of the disease and comes to understand that to discover the truth, he must abandon his humanity. Meanwhile, Natsuno Yuki, an antisocial youth from the city, is haunted by the sudden death of Megumi and must realize the pain of friendship in the face of his own tragedy. Toshio and Natsuno form an unlikely pair as they work together to save Satoba before it transforms into a ghost town of vampires. Shiki, adapted from the horror novel written by Fuyumi Ono, goes beyond the average vampire story. It tells the tragic tale of survival in a world where one cannot easily distinguish between good and evil. Abandoned by God, the Shiki, as the vampires call themselves, have only their will to live as they clash with the fear of the paranoid unbelieving villagers. Shiki explores the boundary that separates man from monster. There exist creatures of darkness and evil that plague the night, devouring any human unfortunate enough to be caught in their grasp. On the other side is Hellsing, an organization dedicated to destroying these supernatural forces that threaten the very existence of humanity. At its head is Integra Fairbrook Wingate's Hellsing, who commands a powerful military and spends her life fighting the undead. Integra's vast army, however, pales in comparison with her ultimate weapon. The vampire Alucard, who works against his own kind as an exterminator for Hellsing. With his new vampire servant, Seraz Victoria, at his side, Alucard must battle not only monsters, but all those who stand to oppose Hellsing, be they in the guise of good or evil. In a battle for mankind's survival, Hellsing Ultimate proves that appearances are not all they may seem, and sometimes the greatest weapon can come in the form of one's worst nightmare. Now branded for death and destined to be hunted by demons until the day he dies, Guts embarks on a journey to defy such a gruesome fate as waves of beasts relentlessly pursue him. Stealing his resolve, he takes up the monstrous blade Dragonslayer and vows to exact vengeance on the one responsible, hunting down the very man he once looked up to and considered a friend. Along the way, he encounters some unlikely allies, such as a small elf named Puck and Isidro, a young thief looking to learn swordsmanship from the former mercenary. As the ragtag group slowly comes together after having decided to join Guts in his quest, they will face incredible danger unlike anything they have ever experienced before. Kiichi Mibara has just moved to the quiet little village of Hinamizawa in the summer of 1983 and quickly becomes inseparable friends with schoolmates Rina Ryuigu, Nyan Sonozaki, Satoko Haoju, and Rika Furud. However, darkness lurks underneath the seemingly idyllic life they lead. As the village prepares for its annual festival, Kiichi learns about the local legends surrounding it. To his horror, he discovers that there have been several murders and disappearances in the village in the recent years, and that they all seem to be connected to the festival and the village's patron god, Oishiro. Kiichi tries to ask his new friends about these incidents, but they are suspiciously silent and refuse to give him the answers he needs. As more and more bizarre events occur, he wonders just what else his friends might be keeping from him, and if he can even trust them at all. When madness and paranoia begin taking root in Kiichi's heart, he will stumble straight into the mysteries at work in Higurashi no Naku Koro Nai, a story that is told across multiple arcs. Lucy is a special breed of human referred to as Diclonius, born with a short pair of horns and invisible telekinetic hands that lands her as a victim of inhumane scientific experimentation by the government. However, once circumstances present her an opportunity to escape, Lucy, corrupted by the confinement and torture, unleashes a torrent of bloodshed as she escapes her captors. During her breakout, she receives a crippling head injury that leaves her with a split personality. Someone with the mentality of a harmless child possessing limited speech capacity. In this state of instability, she stumbles upon two college students, Kauda and his cousin Yuka, who unknowingly take an injured fugitive into their care, unaware of her murderous tendencies. This act of kindness will change their lives, as they soon find themselves dragged into the shadowy world of government secrecy and conspiracy. Nine students gather in their high school at night to bid farewell to a friend. As is customary among many high school students, they perform a sort of ritual for them to remain friends forever, using small paper charms shaped like dolls. However, the students do not realize that these charms are connected to Heavenly Host Academy in elementary school that was destroyed years ago after a series of gruesome murders took place, a school that rests under the foundation of their very own Kisaragi Academy. Now, trapped in an alternate dimension with vengeful ghosts of the past, the students must work together to escape or join the spirits of the damned forever. A feast for mystery fanatics, gore hounds, and horror fans alike, Corpse Party. Tortured Souls Boujukusureta Tamashi no Jukyu shows a sobering look at redemption, sacrifice, and how the past is always right behind, sometimes a little too close for comfort. So what do you think of this list? Their name and which is your favorite anime guaranteed to make you physically nauseous? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more anime related content.